I was 17 years old when I got $100,000 bonus from the Chicago Cubs. Then they took me up there, but then they dropped me for some reason. I don't know if I saw it any better, but the only thing I was doing wrong, I'd go from here to there. But then when I learned how to hit a curveball, I'd go back a little bit and keep my stuff. Hey, I was bad, boy. Somebody just couldn't get me out then, man.
June of 1960, just after we graduated from high school, Mac signed a huge contract with the Chicago Cubs to play baseball. He was one unbelievable athlete. He was 6'4", weighed 220, could run, could throw, could hit. And actually, he won the state championship in baseball in 1960 for Anadarko High School. Because Mac could throw a baseball 90 miles an hour, and a high school kid could not hit the ball, period. They just couldn't hit him. So he by himself basically won the state championship in baseball for Anadarko.
I had a scholarship to Oklahoma University in football, baseball, basketball, whatever I wanted to play. But Chicago Cubs came in and offered me $100,000. I grew up with a father with no hands, so I wanted to help the family. But I got to Chicago and did good.
I thought Mac would, he's a bonus baby, and he had a good spring. I thought he would, they would carry him on the roster. And we both were on the 40-man roster, so they optioned us out, is what they call it. And 64, we both had very good years. But he had an outstanding year where the Cubs called him up to, I guess it was Dallas-Fort Worth. And he started off well, and then he just disappeared.
And a couple of white girls came up to get my autograph, and they sent me back home the next day. Never letting me play in major leagues no more. Kept me for 6 years. Wouldn't let nobody have me. Wouldn't bring me up. So it was very frustrating. People don't know what it was like then. It's, getting $100,000 out of bonus baby right then was kind of unique. And I never could figure out why they wouldn't, I said I know why they didn't let me come back, but I don't know why they wouldn't release me. And we didn't have unions and stuff like then. I didn't like to complain because my daddy with no hands, he never complained. So I just kept working.
My brother and I, we grew up playing all sports, football, basketball, baseball, because my dad lost his hands when he was 10 years old and was an amazing athlete without hands. He played football, he played basketball, and he could hit and throw a baseball. And people would come from all over to see him perform on the football field. Believe it or not, he was quarterback of his football team. Both of his hands were cut off, arms rather, 2 inches below his elbows, so he only had nubs, but he could catch a ball, and he could run and tackle. He could do everything but pass. He even punted for his team. And he made all-conference in the old Negro League. He got a football scholarship to Langston University, but when he got out there, they couldn't insure him, and as a result, he didn't get to play for Langston, but he was a tremendous athlete.
And talking about Buck O'Neill, well, there's a lot of scouts that moved in Anadarko trying to get me to sign back then. We didn't have the drafts now, just whoever bidded the most, that's who got you. And Buck O'Neill, he was a manager of the Kansas City Monarchs, and he was a scout for the Cubs, so he kind of come and got into my family, and we all got to be good friends, and he asked my daddy to give him a break, so we signed with the Cubs. But the Red Sox had asked my daddy to let them have the last offer at the time, but he called me that morning and asked me was I ready to sign. I said, well, I signed last night. I might have made him mad too, I don't know. And the Cubs got me, they sent me down south. I used to think they'd gonna kill me down there, man. police used to have to put me on the bus after the games and stuff. This was the 50s. You got to remember, this was back in the days when everybody was separated and scared of each other and all that kind of stuff. It was just me that was unique. The ball players, the coaches, they didn't make any money. And here I came, a rookie, $100,000 bonus. At that point in time, I was the big whatever. And everybody was kind of, working off of me. As it was, but it was very difficult, because I'd play with kids that we loved each other and we played good together. But in my circumstances, I asked the hitting instructor one day to help me with some hitting and points and stuff, and he said, "You got the money, the hell with it." Walked away. I couldn't tell nobody. He was the hitting instructor for the Cubs. So that's how. And one guy, my first manager, when he found out about the bonus, he liked me before. And one day he found out about bonus, and that's the one that sent me down south. I think he wanted me to quit because it was tough down there. But like I said, I was a high school graduate. I couldn't go anyplace else, and I asked the Cubs to trade me, and they wouldn't. I said, "Well, heck, I might as well quit. Y'all not gonna let me come back to the major leagues." And they said, "Well, you only have a high school education. You can't take care of your family." And so I had to live with that.
Mac would be in the room at night talking about what we would do when we get to Chicago. During the time in Chicago and what we would do after. Because both of us like to help folks, all right, people in life. And we never got that chance. And Mac never said about he was a bonus baby. All our time together. And I know some incident, but when the Cubs is sending the checks out, a coach, I don't know how he got Mac check. I think he threw it at Mac. Because he didn't like the money Mac was making, Mac Tackendall was making. And so, that goes back to let you know that racism was still there. Yeah, you hear people talking about, that if somebody say his name, oh, that's the guy got all the money. Well, it's not his fault. They didn't get the money. Like, I didn't get anything. Only thing I signed was a contract. And
that was something I just had to keep in my self and keep trying best I could, hoping that one day something else would break for me. And so that's been the effort basically overall in my life and background. I just wanted to do this documentary so it could help us all move forward.